I remember very clearly that I was in healthcare. I was at the corporate level in healthcare and was fairly newly reporting to the CEO. And he decided to broaden my whole area of responsibility and have different segments of the organization report to me, and those folks didn't even talk to each other. They didn't like each other. As a matter of fact, they fought. And so he and I argued for a fair period of time, and I lost and he won. And so I was having all of these departments report to me, the infrastructure, basically, of the organization, except finance and information systems. I had everything else. And I didn't have any idea what to do. So I decided that the routine processes that work in organizations like staff meetings would have been nauseating to these people. And I knew I wanted them to really start to work together. And about that time, Calling the Circle book became available, and I read it, and I thought, this could create community. This could really jump over the boundaries. But I didn't know what to do with it, how to take it into a very Lutheran-based organization. So next meeting with the CEO, I handed him the book, and I said, I would like you to read through this book. I would like to have my direct reports really get immersed in this way of our coming together, because I want to create a community, and a learning community. And a couple days later he came back and said, with my book, he's waving my book, and he said, this is, Bonnie, this is a little bit woo-woo kind of stuff, but if it works, it could really work. Go for it. At which point I contracted with Christina, the author, and Anne, to come and do what we called a 3-day circle immersion of the folks who reported to me. I gave each of them the book and said, here's what I'd like to do. Do you feel like you could participate in this or not? A very divergent group, from a PhD biostatistician to an ordained Baptist minister to hospital administrators to vice presidents to etc. They said, yeah, they'd go for it. And I learned later that they told the story to colleagues that here was all this work on their desks piling up, and they had to go on a 3-day retreat thing with Bonnie Marsh just because they reported to her. Well, we did. We had our 3-day circle immersion. One woman was 8 3/4 months pregnant, and she sat through the whole thing, delivered the next day, as I recall. But from that very first experience where we were learning some of the basics of circle and some of the principles and some of the agreements and looking at how we might be able to do our work ongoing in that way, the PhD biostatistician's husband, at the end of these 3 days, when she went home, said, well, what was that? What was that like for you? And she said, I don't really know. I'd have a hard time describing it to you. All I know is that I'm going back.